guys, Larissa with BeCozi.net is here. Today I will show you how to make this beautiful shrug. On Thursday we were going to a theater with my husband, and I didn't have anything to have on my shoulders with this dress that I was wearing. So I found two skeins of skinny merino that we have on sale at BeCozi.net. It's really beautiful color. It kind of matches this dress. So I made this shrug within just 30 minutes, and I will show you how to do it. And with this video I actually start the series of videos for the next month. Make a knitting project under $35. So this shrug will be under $35 because one skein cost $15.50, so two skeins will be $32 plus shipping, so you will have it about $35. Next week I will show you another project for about $20, $25, $30. So something that will not cause a lot of trouble to your wallet, and it will be pretty easy to make. So again, this beautiful shrug is made from skinny merino and two skeins of pink color. We have couple colors available. It's sitting really nicely. It will be really comfortable to wear on a summer night when it's a little bit chilly. So let's do it. Okay guys, let's get started. So we will start with casting on. This is the tail, this is working yarn. Make a loop, insert your hand inside the loop, grab working yarn and pull it out. This is your first stitch, and you can make it smaller or bigger by pulling the working yarn down and up. We will keep it about 2 inches, maybe a little bit less than 2 inches. Now we will need to cast on 14 stitches. To cast on, do the same. Insert your fingers inside, grab working yarn, pull it out. You have 2 stitches now. Insert your hand or 2 fingers in the second stitch, grab working yarn, pull it out. So keep doing the same way until you have 14 stitches like that. So we have a chain of 14 stitches, and now we will do the following. You need to flip over this chain on another side. See, this is the top of the chain. We just made it. Now we're flipping it over, and the reason we're flipping it over, we need these knots in the middle. You see those knots? Those knots we will be using to pull out our first row. So we usually keep the working yarn in the direction where we're knitting. We will be knitting from right to the left, so the working yarn is going from the right to the left too. So this is your first stitch, you're keeping it here. Second stitch, you see this bump? Insert your fingers under the bump and grab working yarn behind it and pull it through. This is your first stitch. Second stitch we will do the same. Keep stitches side by side. This is the knot in the middle of the stitch. Pull it, put your fingers inside, grab working yarn and pull it through. This is the next one. You see all those knots? All those knots, that's what we will be using. Your fingers go under the knot, grab working yarn, pull it out. Keep doing it this way until you go through all 14 stitches, and you will have your first row of 14 stitches made. Why we're using the knots, why we're flipping the chain, because when we're using these knots, we will have this beautiful chain on the bottom, and this chain will then be on our sleeve, so it will look really beautiful. So we're done with our pulling our first row out. There you go. So we have 14 stitches, we pull them out. Now we will be making second row. Second row will be done the same way. Change your working yarn from the left to the right, because that's where we're going now. Insert your hand inside the first stitch, grab working yarn, pull it out. And this row we will start our pattern. So the pattern will be this way. We just knitted first 2 stitches. This is the first stitches, and they were knitted in a simple stockinette stitch. The next 2 we will be purling. So working yarn goes up front, and then when your working yarn is up front, you're taking the stitch with the left hand and you're pushing this working yarn inside like that. This will be your purling stitch. The same with the second stitch. So we knitted 2 and now we're purling 2. Take this stitch and push working yarn through. So now we're making 2 stitches by knitting them. So working yarn goes on the back. You insert your fingers inside the stitch, grab working yarn and pull it out. The same with the next one. There you go. So 2 stitches. Now 2 purling. Take stitch with your left hand and push the working yarn with your big finger inside like that, and do the same way 2 times. So we are purling 2 and knitting 2 stitches all the way through 14 stitches through the whole second row. If you want to knit tighter, you can do it. If you want to knit looser, it's also up to you. Just make sure you have enough yarn, because the tighter you are knitting, the more yarn you will need. Loose knitting will require less yarn. So here we go. We have a second row, and you can see the patterns starting to show up. And now we will be knitting from the right to the left again. So working yarn this direction, and we are knitting our first 2. Insert your fingers, grab working yarn, pull it out. The same with the next one. So you see that all knitted stitches look like chain. So that's how you know which one to knit, which one to purl. And now you can see that we have these 2 with knots in the middle. It means that this 2 needs to be purled. So for purling, we're doing the same as we were doing in the previous row, only this time you're holding the stitch with your right hand and pushing the working yarn through with your left, like that. And the same with the knitting. You are using your right hand to insert in the stitch, grab working yarn and pull it through. So depending on which side you're going, from left to the right, you're using your left for holding stitches and knitting, and when you're going back, you are using your right. Okay, so we will be knitting this way until we use the whole skein, and then I will come back and I will show you what to do next. It's pretty easy project, that's why I'm making it kind of on the go just before my event. Okay, so here, this is the last stitch of the row. So we have 14 stitches. We have 2 rows knitted, 1 was pulled out, so it's 3 rows total. And now you keep doing the same way: 2 knitted, 2 purled, 2 knitted, 2 purled, until you're done with all of your skein. And then I'll come back and show you what to do next. Okay guys, when you're done with your first skein, then you will need to attach your second skein. It's very easy with skinny merino. You're just making a simple knot, tie it, and then take scissors and cut it closer to the knot. That's all you need to do. This will not be noticeable when you keep knitting. So now you keep knitting until you use 2 skeins. the same way to knit 2 purl, and then I will come back and show you how to cast off. Okay guys, so we have a little bit of yarn left, so we can cast off. For casting off, take 1 stitch, put it on your fingers, add another stitch that you would have 2, and then grab working yarn and pull it through these 2 stitches. Now you have 1 left. Keep it on your hand and add another stitch that you would have 2, and then grab working yarn and pull it through these 2 stitches. You can see already that the chain is forming, and keep doing it this way, knitting 2 stitches at once until you are done with all stitches, and this way we will finish our shrug. Make sure to keep 2 strings of the yarn if you want to use the same yarn to connect the shrug for the sleeves. You can use any yarn of the similar color if you want, or you can use this one. Just keep a piece like that available. So here we have 2 more stitches, and here is the last one. So 2 last stitches, grab and pull working yarn through. You have 1 stitch now, and then you have a tail. Insert tail inside this last stitch and pull it through. Here you finished your knitting project. Now you can weave in this end. I usually hide it under the chain, meaning that this chain, so you lift these 2 stitches and pull this tail through, and then just weave it in or hide it between stitches on the back. So here we are, we have our end finished here, and I will show you how to make sleeves. Okay guys, so the length of your shrug need to be 45 inches from this side all the way to this side. It should be 45 inches. It's 2 skeins of skinny merino. Now 45 inches divided by 3 will be 15 inches. So take a measuring tape and measure 15 inches from one side. So I will use this pin to attach it to the stitch where it's 15 inches. And now we will connect the sleeve or the project to make a sleeve. So place the yarn this way in front of you with the end on the bottom, and then connect it like that. Connect these 2 sides. Now we will connect these 2 edges starting from bottom to the top to those 15 inches mark. For this purpose you will need a piece of yarn a little bit longer than those 15 inches, so I would say like 17 inches long. And then we will start from the bottom. You will use the first stitch on the bottom, insert your yarn inside, pull it through, leave a little tail, and then insert it through the bottom first stitch on another side. Now connect them together and make a knot like that, and you can secure it and make another one. And now what we will be doing, we will be placing our yarn in one stitch and then to another. Now to connect it in an invisible way, so you see this edge of the project here, and here it's a chain. So when you connect these chains together like that, you see this stitches on the side. This is the stitches we will be using. See this? This is the edge of the chain, and here is the stitch So you need to insert working yarn and pull it through that stitch, then find another one here. It looks like a bump, so it's easy to find it this way. So here it is. This is the stitch we're using, and here's the next one on the another side, and here is another one. This way the connection will be invisible, basically. See what we have here? So use the bump or the purl stitch from both sides to connect your sleeve. And we will be doing it until we reach this mark. That will be one of your sleeves, and then we will do the same on the other side. So again, chains together, and you're using these bumps on the side. This way the connection will be really nice and smooth and not really visible. I will show you. See this, how nicely it's connected? You don't really see it. Okay guys, so we reached our mark over here, so it's 15 inches. So what we're doing now, we're dividing this yarn in two, and then insert it in this stitch and on the other side, the same bumps that we were using, and then you can just make a knot and secure it with another knot, and then we can weave in these ends. We can hide them underneath behind any stitches, and we can actually make them shorter. It will be easier to hide, and then just hide them or weave them in like that. So this is our first sleeve. This on the end, this little tail, you also need to insert inside the stitches on another side and weave it in here, hide it between any stitches that it will not be visible. And then you would need to do the same on another side for another sleeve. Okay guys, so this is how your shrug will look like. See, this is one sleeve, and there is this opening in the middle, and this is the second sleeve. So this is how it looks like, and now I will show you how it will look like on me. So here it is guys, it's all ready, this beautiful shrug. Let me show how it looks on the back. I think it looks pretty beautiful. Let me come a little bit closer. I really like it. It's very nice and soft and beautiful. It doesn't make you uncomfortable. It actually sits very nicely, and I think it looks gorgeous. So it will take you probably about 30 to 40 minutes, maybe an hour the most to make it. I use 2 skeins of skinny merino. We have this 100% Australian merino wool, and this is twisted merino already, so it's not rowing. It looks like that, and it's perfect for projects like sweaters or like the shrug or cardigan. This is the cardigan that I'm making that will be available. DIY knitting kit will be available on our website later. So anyway, this beautiful shrug, you can make it too. You can purchase skinny merino. We have a couple colors available on the website. So stay warm and be cozy.